Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another beautiful episode of the Weeb Weekly, another jam-packed episode. And family, we got another big one coming at you. We got our main man, Mizu, and Travis, our main men, actually. So we are back in the saddle, whether you are listening to us or watching us on YouTube. Hello, and welcome to the squad. Mizu, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I am literally pumped right now. I am on 10.
Love to see it. Love to see it. How about you, Travis?
Oh man, I'm excited. I am so
Oh,
excited for what
yes.
we're about to talk about.
It's lit. It's absolutely lit. We just got done watching the two big episodes of the week that are released every Sunday, as you may know. That is Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan. Of course, we're starting with Demon Slayer because it was the first one to be released, and oh damn, the animation just keeps getting better in every episode, and I don't know how. Gentlemen, you knew a little bit more about the episode coming in than I did, but how did this match your expectations?
I was astounded. I loved every single second of it, and I think a part of it I was also giddy for was I want to see people's reactions to what was going down when I finally seen it on in the anime itself, because I remember seeing it in the manga, and what happens to Tanjiro and Inosuke. We're all just thinking that the heroes are down for the count, but I just love how it goes into that and it goes on 10. Every episode has been off the rails so far, and I love it. You would think from the beginning of it, it's going to be one of those kind of slow arcs, like, oh, entertainment arc. They're just probably messing around a little bit here or there. No. It's a whole different ball game.
True that. How about you, Travis?
I hate it here.
Oh shit!
I hate it here. Demon Slayer. I said the last part, and I'll say it again, man. Demon Slayer just does not care about anything. Does not care about your feelings, humanity. It wrecked my soul thoroughly, burned to the core. I feel like just the same amount of questions I had last episode are the same kind of questions I have at the end of this episode, and that's not fair. I'm as in the air, and it irks me. But God, Demon Slayer just proves every week how much of a masterpiece it is. There was that scene where Tanjiro was just getting bullied by this demon.
Yeah.
And when he broke his fingers, it ringed my soul. Like, it just ringed it out. I couldn't. This anime is incredible, heartbreaking. Just it's too much, man. I can't keep doing this. I'm glad that the finale is next week, so I just don't have to go through like several more weeks of this.
Dog,
but yeah,
go.
I was gonna say, but I just wanted to know what y'all thought during that time, because you would think, looking at it, because he's an older brother, Gitaro, protecting his little sister Daki. You would think he was gonna have that moment of like, oh, I get what you're doing. And you would think he's gonna have that soft moment, be like, "Oh, I get what you're doing, how you're doing it, and all that stuff." But no, Gitaro does not care, and he is a full-fledged bully. I was so pissed off, and it just seeing it animated just pissed me off. I'm like, bro, you're being a whole asshole. Like, I was sitting here like, if I was there, granted, I'm happy I'm not there, but like metaphorically, if I was there, I'll say something to him. But
my God, I want. Unlike Travis, I want this arc to continue forever because I love it. I love the animation, man. It's like it's
right.
And the story is just really gripping. I knew that the demons have to come to an end. I'm just happy that like they didn't take down Tengen with them, at least not yet, because we haven't seen the finale. Maybe he just like that cliffhanger at the end had me like, no way, this is the end of the episode. And I checked the time and I was like, bro, why you do this? This is not the way. I would say one of the coolest moments in the entire anime is just like Tanjiro willing to risk his entire being to muster up as much energy as possible to actually cut off Gyutaro's head. And I honestly thought he was gonna go Super Saiyan. Like the way that his hair was, bro, the eyes, the hair, the scar got bigger, which means I think he gets an even bigger scar now. Like every time he strains himself more, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm like, bro, this dude is going Super Saiyan right in front of my eyes, and I love it. This episode proves how much of a badass as well Zenitsu is. Zenitsu is a god, okay? We just need to give him a lot of melatonin. Just keep a couple melatonin pills at hand at all times. And Inosuke, shifting your organs around? Are you kidding me, bro? Crazy scenes. This episode was, I would say it was as close to 10 as possible. Last week's episode was like a perfect 10 in my opinion. This one was probably like a 9.8 or a 10 because of like the emotional connection that I had to just like Tanjiro getting like bullied and overpassing his limits, seeing Tengen again. Like he wasn't super flashy, but he was just like straight to the point. Like, oh, I know exactly how to do it. And I think this is the first time we got the full reveal of how his power works, right? He assesses the opponent's strategy and makes a musical score, right? It's a musical score that if he can read it, he can defeat the person, which is great. I'd never seen that before in a TV show. So I was really excited. I loved this episode. What were the things that surprised you the most, either animation wise or story wise?
What definitely surprised me the most is that Inosuke was alive.
Okay.
Definitely. I'm not sad about it by any stretch. I'm here. I'm happy. Love that Inosuke is alive. Was a part of me a little perturbed, a little upset that they really did some mental gymnastics to keep this man alive.
Yeah.
Because it was so clear that was through the heart. Even in the beginning of the episode, they showed him lifeless on the ground, swords out of hand. I'm like, it's over. But to see him, again, happy, but to see him in the air, and then he was in the air for so long explaining just how this was possible. I'm like, man, really?
They're traveling at super speed, man. Don't question it.
Man, he wasn't even looking. He wasn't even looking at the demon, the older brother demon. He was, for you to shift your organ, how? But again, happy, here for it. I'll let it go. But to me, that episode definitely, it still was a 10 because the kind of when the older brother was so your question was what shocked me. Definitely that Inosuke was alive. 100% shocked me. That Tengen was alive, another shocker. And that he could stop the poison through that he was able to stop the poison circulating. And the last one was that the very last scene where the blood blades just went off. Like after their heads were cut off and they both, first of all, that was a crazy scene too, where both of their heads, they were beheaded and the heads rolled to
lined up to each other.
Yeah, and they looked at each other. That last scene where you see Tengen just screaming like, it's not over. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, and just to see just that happen, I'm like, man, I don't know. Someone has to die from that, right? Like they can't survive that too, right? So I don't know. That was a big shock to me too.
Oh my God, that moment, like for me, the biggest shock was when he impaled Tanjiro through the mouth. I was like, bro, what the hell be happening in these streets? Like he can't talk anymore. He literally pierced his tongue and stuff. And I'm like, bro, this is crazy. Tanjiro's been through hell and back. I mean, at this point, he's basically Vegeta, just getting like just breaking down after every battle. I absolutely got shocked by that. I don't know. I'm scared because I thought we were going to have that moment of like, oh, at least one Hashira survived an encounter with an upper six. But no, they decided to leave us on a cliffhanger. We don't even know if he turned into sashimi or if he just like sacrificed himself for Tanjiro. I don't even know. I just know that that was crazy and the animation was sensational for it. Mizu, I know you already read. You know exactly what's going to happen. But did you get surprised at all at how they executed it?
Definitely. I'll say definitely with the sickle through Tanjiro's mouth. I was gonna ask you guys, like, I wanted to know your guys' reaction towards him being like that happening, because you would think that seeing main characters getting damaged like that is, to me, is insane. I think the one I can think of that was almost on par with that recently in anime I could think of is probably like what happened to Asta and Black Clover with his arms. What happened to his arms in that arc specifically. But overall, I'll say the way they did it was fantastic. And of course, I like how they left it on a cliffhanger. So you're still wondering what's going on about the gang. And to Travis's comment earlier, in Yosuke's defense, in his defense, we kind of got a glimpse of him doing something like that. That I remember him mentioning earlier when we first kind of meet in Yosuke. He was doing all these things with his body, contorting it and doing all this other stuff. And he said he had complete mastery of his body. So, and then again, I will also say, but let's just say this, in anime, is it the most gymnastics of weird logic we've seen before?
No.
There's some anime where just like, yo, that no matter how many times you explain it, it doesn't make sense. Like that's Dragon Ball, Naruto. I'm wearing Naruto merch. I'll even say it. Yes, sometimes Naruto's logic does not make sense. but yeah, that's just in his defense. Like it was different. I was a little surprised by it, and of course, they did the anime thing by letting him explain how he survived instead of just going and just chop this demon's head off. But
I mean, if also the fact that he's poison immune because he lived in the, I'm like, word, really? But I'm like, but again, hey, I'm cool with it. As whatever you need to do, writers, to keep Inosuke alive, do it. I'm a big supporter.
Oh, for
Facts.
sure.
But
and I'm happy we also got.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, continue.
Yo, Jose, to what you said about Tanjiro getting stabbed through the mouth, I screamed. I screamed. It was. That's one thing I really do enjoy about Demon Slayer. I feel like, especially when you watch a lot of anime or just a lot of shows in general, at least I don't think I'm the only one that does this. You start to try and predict things or think ahead, just instinctively or reflexively.
Definitely.
And one thing that Demon Slayer does is genuinely surprise you.
Yep.
I could have never guessed that he was going to get stabbed through the mouth and that his scar was going to grow. I would have never guessed that there was going to be blood sites at the very end of the episode. There's so many things that Demon Slayer does to just keep you consistently on your toes each week. It's masterful writing, and I love seeing it.
I don't know if I want to adopt my friend's strategy, which is like just I'll leave all the episodes till the end so you can binge them, because sometimes I'm just like, bro, this is agonizing. Like the wait, the wait is the most hurtful, like the first 2 days after the episode, because I'm like, bro, I want to see the ending of this saga, right? But obviously, like that's life. You gotta wait for the good things to come to those who wait, right? So what would you rate this episode out of 10, guys?
I'd rate it a 9.5.
Okay, solid rating. How about you, Mizu?
I definitely give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay,
every part of it, the speed, even the slow moments, all that, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right, I would give it a 9.8, and I'll say because last week's episode was so perfect. Like last week's episode was perfection. And this one was all like what was more of a conflict resolution type episode, and it did have story, it had animation, it kept us on our toes with a cliffhanger, like it had everything. But last episode was just like so perfect that like I just can't seem to give it the same rating, just like out of principle. But 9.8 is solid, I guess, right? But speaking of solid and breaking expectations and messing our life up with every single scene that happens in the anime, Attack on Titan also dropped an episode, and holy damn, Eren Yeager is crazy, as I mentioned previously. I knew that he was not gonna die because of we already knew something had to happen, and we finally we're seeing it. It's happening. Like insert insert the Office meme. Oh my God, it's happening! It's happening! Michael Scott, it's happening. The rumbling has begun. Guys, what were your impressions of this episode, of the animation, everything like that?
So we both read the manga. I was really happy with how it was animated, and the origin story of Amir hit so much harder in my opinion in the anime than it did in the manga. That score, the score
Oof.
that they had with it, like chef's kiss.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. I didn't think that we were going to see the rumbling this quick. I really didn't. And that's why last pod I was like, oh, I don't think this episode's going to break the internet. But man, I love how the Titans look. I'm so glad they were drawn so well. But the next episode for sure, how Aaron's gonna look, that's gonna break everything. Like I cannot wait to see your reaction to that.
Sheesh. I am so excited. Mizu, I know you're laughing behind those glasses. I know your eyes are laughing maniacally like Kira. Come on, tell us how you feeling.
Oh my gosh. I have been waiting, just like Aaron, I have been waiting for this moment. I have been waiting. First of all, I definitely agree with Travis. I love how they animated Ymir's backstory. And I like how they kind of stuck with the way she was portrayed in the manga, because we don't really see her. She kind of looks colorless and has they don't show her eyes and stuff like that, because in the manga panels that's how it was drawn, like kind of drawn to make them kind of mysterious in a way, but not real defined. And I like how the anime kept that, and it looks cool. And seeing the backstory on it is so much cooler. And I even plan on doing a video, because think about it. They won't explain. I'm pretty sure they won't explain it in the thing, but all of that transpired. The building of Eldia, seeing her, run and fall into the tree, which is said to be, kind of like a nod to the, the tree of Yggdrasil from Norse mythology.
Yeah.
So, but seeing all of that, her building the Eldian Empire, being a slave towards, the King Fritz, and they built all of that in 13 years.
Yeah.
Well, damn.
13 years. And one of the rules about the Titan Shifters is that once you become a Titan Shifter, you only have 13 years to live after that. But that's because Ymir herself, 13 years after that, that's when we saw the
impaled
Marley and assassins try to kill the king, and she stepped in and got hit with the spear. And that was 13 years later, and she died on that 13th year. That's why all Titan Shifters only got 13 years to live, because of her.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, but now looking at it, but the part I say that is even crazier is that means they built that entire empire in 13 years. So I'm like, holy crap, they built an empire that fast with her help, with the power of the Titan. And one thing I want to see Travis's opinion on this. How did you feel how they animated the thing that took over Ymir that gave her the Titan powers? Because I'm not gonna lie, in the manga it looked weird. I was like, what the hell is this?
It's a spinal cord, right? It's a spinal cord.
It's a spinal cord centipede creature.
Yeah, it kind of, the way I interpreted from the manga, I was like, this is like a weird amoeba kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, to me, I loved how they animated it. I loved it. I definitely preferred over the manga for sure. I felt like in the manga it just looked, just amoeba-ish. But like here, it really, I liked it. It was translucent. It looked really cool.
I definitely agree, because I was sitting here like, oh yeah, because I was wondering this entire time. That was my low-key one fear. I was just like, I wonder what this thing is gonna look like when they finally animate it. And they did it. And I was like, oh, I like this. This is definitely a lot better than what it looked like in the manga.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, everything, the seeing the rumbling, seeing the walls fall down, and we finally see the rumbling happen. And then of course, to me, the iconic scene is when he, talks to all of them. So, hello, subjects of Ymir. This is Eren Yeager. And then he gives his little speech on why he's doing what he's doing. Fantastic. All of it, fantastic.
He's a menace to society, and I love every second of it. I don't believe in destroying everything outside of the global council, but I'm definitely gonna tune in to see how it's done because it's gonna be lit. Okay. The only thing that I didn't really get is why didn't Armin turn? Why didn't Armin transform?
So that's because he's a shifter. So shifters already
Are
I
immune?
guess you could say they're immune to
Being forced to transform.
Yeah, being forced. So because think about it, before Zeke got in touch with the founding Titan, because of him being of royal blood, he had the unique ability to command, abnormal or basically lesser Titans, transform them, or just tell them what to do. But he can't do that with Titan shifters. I mean, if he could, he would have been controlling Eren this entire time, or everybody else, but he couldn't.
True.
But soon as he got in touch with Eren, with the founding Titan, if he had the founding Titan's abilities out the gate, he could have. But since he doesn't, and the only reason he's able to do it is because of him being of royal blood.
This is lit. My brain lights are turning on all at the same time, and I am dumbfounded. I loved this episode. I loved the transformation. I loved the fact that we got to see Eren defy Zeke's power as the founding Titan, like with the royal blood connection, right? Because he basically freed Ymir of that servitude that she was self-imposing upon herself in the paths.
Okay.
Like seeing the paths actually diverge, like from her to like Rose, Maria, and what's the other one? The third name? Cena. Like like that just that detail of seeing like the paths actually spread out as the subjects of Ymir started happening, and just the disgusting nature of Fritz being like, yeah, feed her spinal cord to my grandchildren and then everybody else. I'm like, bro, this man needs to die off and never come back because he is an ass.
Look, man, I'll say this. You, as anime only, you guys are lucky that you didn't actually see what was in the manga, because in the anime, they kind of blurred out what was going on, because in the manga, you actually see them and you see Ymir's freaking dead carcass being eaten by the children. But luckily in the anime, they didn't do that. But it was very visceral. I was like, holy crap, like. And then, of course, kudos to you for definitely saying that, because, screw OG King Fritz. That man is a monster. And especially when his wife gets killed, the first thing he says, oh, get up. You're not going to get killed by a spirit. Get up, slave.
Bro.
Yeah. After all that time, she bared 3 of his kids. He was still a slave. Still a slave. What a monster.
Exactly. I mean, the biggest red flag was like, oh, you came back with this crazy amount of power. Your reward is my seed. I was so cringy when he said that. I was like, bro, somebody kill this man.
Dude, he was a problem.
King Fritz was a problem. I feel like this episode also highlighted how cold Eren is. Because as soon as Zeke bounced out of that memory, he was like, we didn't even get to the part where I ate him.
Mans was ready for the smoke. Mans was ready for the smoke, bro. He's been waiting.
But I'll say this about Eren, though, is that at least with him, I'll give him this. At least he was like, I think, the first person to see Ymir as a person.
Yes.
Because even, unfortunately, with Zeke, he just saw like, oh, she's a slave and she has a slave mindset. So instead of, talking to her, I'm just going to manipulate that. While Eren was like, no, like, you've been
waiting.
You've been waiting. You've been doing all this. You always done what you're told. Like, no, you are a person, and you need to be treated as such. And you've been like, you brought me here. Like, you've been waiting thousands of years for someone to tell you that. And that's when we finally saw Ymir's eyes, and she basically gave him full rights. Like, you know what? Here you go. Here's the keys to the car. Everything is all in order. Go ahead.
Bro, she gave him a new Lamborghini Murcielago ready to mess everybody up, bro. He is ready for that deadly, deadly smoke. And speaking of deadly, is Zeke dead now? I don't want to. I don't know if I. Is that a spoiler?
I mean,
Is
I
that
can
a
say it's
spoiler?
not necessarily a spoiler,
He
but
blew. I mean, they both got connected. I mean, I saw both heads connect, and then just bloop. One of the heads just left. I'm like, okay, bet.
So could all right, I answered about you didn't hear me, so I'm glad you didn't hear me. But
okay. I was
But-
gonna say that Zeke is still alive.
Okay, bet. Any further context on that?
I'm not
or
gonna
are we
tell you
to-
anything
don't
else.
say anything.
Damn it!
Don't say anything.
Don't make me wait for a week. Okay. What I will ask though, with however much is left, do you guys think we have like 10, 12 episodes left?
No.
Honestly, I'll say I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember you asking me this question way back, like how much they can do it. But looking at the pace of how they're doing it, I'll say probably less than that.
6?
Probably.
5?
I'd go with
Honestly-
4, maybe.
Yeah, I'll say
Four?
probably no more than
They're
5.
zooming.
Yeah.
They're zooming through this. Like,
Okay, so that
I
gets me some.
I could definitely see it. Like, yeah, 4, 5 tops. If it got to, I couldn't see more than 10 for sure. I couldn't unless they start doing filler. I couldn't see more than 10 episodes.
Actually, I'm gonna ask you a question. Maybe I'm just going crazy here, but you don't have to go into detail. But didn't something happen before the rumbling in there, Travis? I remember something happening
That they
between
didn't portray
two
in the
different
anime?
characters, huh?
That they didn't portray in the anime?
Yeah, because
Like a fight?
there's something involving the Jaegerist that happened before the rumbling.
It's not coming to mind.
I know. I gotta look it up.
You might be right
was
because
sitting
look,
here.
again, I think your memory on the manga is definitely better than mine. And every now and then, like I'll like try to refresh before a podcast, but I'm not remembering per se something that the anime left out. But I definitely could be wrong though.
Because I don't know. I'm just having this weird feeling that they might have purposely skipped over something involving the Jaegerist. Because
I'm gonna
there's something
look
that
back on
happens
the
with the
manga.
Jaegerist, and certain characters involved in the Jaegerist, and it just seems like to me that they kind of left that part off. And I'm not gonna say this character's name or something like that because something else happens, but it was also kind of big. But I don't know. Maybe I got it. Maybe the timeline's confused. Maybe it hasn't happened
No,
yet.
I don't think you're getting something confused. I just think my memory's failing me right now.
I'm never gonna look it up after this.
And that's totally fair, man. It's totally fair. It was a crazy episode, but I think you guys just confirmed one of my theories, which is Aaron's not making it out. Because if there's only 4 episodes left, this man is not taking over the world in 4 episodes, unless they do a time skip. So Aaron is gonna die, I guess. I'm sticking to that thought. Aaron's gonna die, and that's perfectly fine with me. If something cool happens and if the way that it's done is perfect. Because anyway, he's going to die. It's like he's going to die. This is his 13th year, right? Or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he has 1 or 2 years left anyway.
Okay. Well, still,
think
that's
so,
13
somewhere
reasons
like
why. That's still 13 reasons why. So let's take him out of the picture then. I still would give this episode a solid 9. I don't think it was like a 10 for me. Mostly because I didn't see any Titan fighting. But if it would have had any Titan fighting, I think it would have been a 10. Story wise, absolutely way up there. Like the depiction of Emir as a troubled slave. That moment where she's like carrying the bucket and seeing like the like herself like forming the. Did she form the Titan wall? She didn't, right?
So yes, technically she did. Like I said, and I think in a previous pod. And she basically controls the paths, and everything within the paths she can do. So when she molds stuff out of sand, that's basically her creating a Titan, whether it be like, she manifests the Titan bones, all the anatomy of the Titan. She does that. She can make all different types of things, give people powers and stuff like that. And for example, one little fact that they don't mention, because it's not going to be mentioned in the anime anyway, that, for example, one question I always get that what if somebody like a Titan shifter, say if I was a Titan shifter, what if I don't pass down my power? What if I just die with it? So that power goes to the paths and it is reincarnated into
another
born Ymir subject of Ymir child.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm shocked that they didn't add that in there somewhere, but yeah, I'm glad you said that. Me too.
Yes, sir. You got a nice bit of context there that we should have gotten in the anime, honestly, because I was like, how the hell did Historia no, technically, okay, so are all of them subjects of Ymir from just being born part of Eldia, or does the drinking the spinal fluid also affect it?
So it's I'll say the vast majority of the people who live in Paradise are, I'll say, descendants of people from Eldia.
Ymir,
And the one thing I don't want to basically to bring up to give you more context of why also King Fritz is an asshole is because he saw the potential and power that Ymir had, and so later down the line, other Eldians or the royal family experimented on other citizens to try to create different ways to obtain the power of Titans, which is why you can say a lot of them have the ability or potential to become a Titan because of these experimentations. For example, Levi Ackerman's whole clan, the Ackerman clan, is an experiment. They were trying to figure out a way to utilize Titan powers without transforming, and that's pretty much what the Ackerman clan is. They pretty much have the power, or like you can say the strengths of a Titan without being an actual Titan.
Okay.
So same thing with Mikasa. So she Mikasa. So yeah, that's, you can say that pretty much everybody who of subject of Emirs are all like related with all dabbled with some Titan science, how they put it in the manga.
All right, that's actually pretty nice to know. Well, speaking of Levi, we haven't seen him yet, so I'm guessing he's showing up at the final battle, I guess. I hope. No word from Mizu, just scary eyes, scary Morpheus eyes. I can't get anything out of Mizu this week. Damn it. Okay, fine. I'll leave it there.
Wait till you see.
I'll leave it there. All right. Travis, do you have anything else to say about the episode?
I loved how Emir's Titan looked as well.
Oh, nice.
And to me, I think the episode was a 10 out of 10. Personally, the way that the story, it was so emotionally gripping that I'd have to give it that perfect rating. It was great reading when Eren was talking to Ymir in the manga, but in the anime, it just hit totally different. I felt so much sympathy for Ymir in the anime. And even that moment where they showed her eyes and she was crying and you saw like that anger but also sadness, it was just incredible storytelling.
Love to see it. So, Mizu, if you don't have anything else to say on that, I'm guessing that's a no. Or did he?
I thought you were gonna say something else, but I also give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Story wise, I like the build up. I like how we got to see a flashback, because anime is notorious for doing flashbacks, and sometimes they can be very long with the flashbacks. But I like how we got a quick flashback of pretty much from that little snippet of, I would say no more than maybe 5 minutes. We already know the subject of Ymir, Ymir, how she got the power, how Eldia came to be, how she died, all that, just in like a 5-minute time frame of an episode. So I thought that was well executed. So, and then of course, like I said, Eren talking to her, everything, all the build up to it was amazing. So for me, it's a 10 out of 10. All
right, I guess I'm the only one that came out of that with a 9. But I think, hey, I'm just obsessed with fighting Titans. Okay, so that's sue me. All right. Before we get to the Stackem up, we also had a huge episode that off the bat, 10 out of 10. I will say it now. And some people will get mad, but I do not give a single flying F. This is the best piece of Star Wars media since Rogue One, because we saw episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett, and it is the single greatest thing that has graced my eyes this year. I will say it be above Demon Slayer, above Attack on Titan. The best 40 minutes of anything I have seen thus far this year, and it's going to be hard to top. I know, Travis, that's a lot to say. I will back it up. Mizu,
I'm short circuiting over here.
Yes, Mizu. You saw the episode. Tell me, how did you feel?
First, I was taken aback because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect him to be in it.
Off the jump. Out
the jump. I didn't expect him to be in it, and not for this long either. I thought it was gonna be like maybe just a little cameo and he would just dip. But no, he was in the episode for for the majority of the episode. I was like, wow, we're seeing a whole part of him that we didn't get to see. And I'm saving the reveal, so I'm gonna let Jose do the honors. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I like how we got to see basically a lot of notable Star Wars characters all together, like at least 2 of my favorites in one episode. And I don't know, I was taken aback by it a lot, and the way they did it was very interesting.
Okay, Travis. Just to explain it in basketball terms, this is the 1992 Dream Team, right? Or Avengers Endgame, if you will, for Star Wars. So, essentially, we are at a point in time in the Star Wars mythos where this is the paths, right? All paths converge. Because this is a prime moment in time where the prequels, the Clone Wars, and the sequels all converge. Right? Characters from all 3 converge in this episode.
Whoa.
The first one being Luke motherfucking Skywalker. We see Mark Hamill return again as Luke Skywalker, and it literally looks like he came out of a time machine. So what Lucasfilm did, I'm gonna explain it once because I'm so mad that people were like, oh my god, they just did it, like they just didn't put enough budget into Mandalorian season 2. No. Content creators affected this, okay? So there is a YouTuber known as Shamuk who is very famous for doing deep fakes on YouTube. So, for example, he's done John Krasinski as Captain America. It looks amazing. John Krasinski as Fantastic Four's Reed Richard. He also amazing. He's put the Spider-Man in each other's body. Like, for example, like Tobey Maguire as Tom Holland. Also amazing. He's a god at deep fakes. He can deep fake you into any face, right? Lucasfilm hired him to fix the CGI, bro. Lucasfilm hired a YouTuber to fix the CGI effects, and it gave us this masterpiece. If you look at my Instagram, I've posted tons of pictures. I still have more pictures and more takes to have. But essentially, Luke Skywalker is back. Bro, you can see the single strands of hair floating in the wind with the eyes. It doesn't hit the uncanny valley, at least until the ending, just because of how the mouth looks. But they used the same double that they used in Mandalorian Season 2 for like the movements and stuff like that. But it was balls to the wall, the best CGI that Star Wars has done so far. Like in any show, anything like that, like even prosthetics, bro. He looks really good, and we see Luke Skywalker meeting Grogu. I don't think you know who Grogu is yet. I'm pretty sure you've seen the memes. Have you seen the memes of Baby Yoda?
Yes.
Okay, so Grogu shows up, which connects the Mandalorian. We see the Mandalorian. We see R2-D2, which is also great. And then we see one of everybody's favorite characters from the Clone Wars, who was in the Mandalorian Season 2, Ahsoka Tano. This is Anakin Skywalker's ex-Padawan.
She's the one with the
tendrils. Rosario Dawson.
Right?
Yes.
Yes.
So people have always been debating, like, okay, she survived the Jedi Purge. She is old enough, she's old enough to be alive. Like, she's young enough to be alive. Sorry. And then we saw her in Mandalorian Season 2, so we're like, okay, time-wise, she could meet Luke Skywalker. It turns out they've known each other this whole time. Like we've been theorizing, like, will they ever meet? Is this their first meeting? It's like, nah, they know each other. And they made references to the prequels. They made she literally said, you are so much like your father. And I literally cried. Wow. I cried, bro. I cried.
You cried, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to be funny, but when she said that,
don't tell me you laughed.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When she said that, my mind went, what do you mean by that? Because in what regard? Define what you mean by that. Because yes, you got Anakin, but it's like you're just like your dad. You mean like Darth Vader, or you mean like Anakin Skywalker? Like, I mean, pretty much the same person. I was just sitting here like, because I'm not gonna lie, if I was Luke and she said that, I'm like, I would have looked at her a little sideways, like, explain.
Why are you running?
Explain yourself.
Literally,
in a good way or a bad way.
Literally, man, it was insane. We get so many callbacks to the original trilogy. So, for example, Travis, like the famous training montage that you'll see in episode 5, recreated here. I'm not trying to spoil the whole thing for you, but like there's moments that are
Yoda
very
and Luke Skywalker. That one, like,
bro,
when they went into the woods.
He carries Baby Yoda just like he did with actual Yoda.
Oh, wow.
Even mentioned too. He was just like, "Oh, you remind me of my master."
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. There's Easter eggs everywhere, man.
I definitely want to piggyback off of what you said about them hiring him, and like, because I'm not gonna lie, I was taken back from it because I was sitting here in disbelief because I kept looking at my screen. I was looking up in my television. I was like, "Is that Mark Hamill?" I was like, "This can't be." I kept doing this, like, "There's no way in hell this is because Mark Hamill, I mean, God rest his soul, he's like 70 years old. Like, I was so thrown off. Like, who? I kept saying to myself, "Who is this? This is not Luke Skywalker." And I was like, not in a bad way, but I was like, I don't know how did they pull this off? Because I was sitting here in disbelief. Like, there's no way that de-aging is this good. But this did not look like this looked too real to me.
I was in shock. And then they gave the two biggest things in the episode. One, I will not spoil, so you can actually have an incentive to see it. It's a big decision that Baby Yoda has to make, and they added also Easter eggs to that.
Cool.
And it connects the sequels. It connects the sequels, so it connects 7, 8, 9, and then the prequels. Like everything is connected, right? Everything. It's like this. I feel like this is like the MCU beginning, I guess, for Star Wars, because like they connected everything. This show, like in the span of 3 episodes, they've connected the prequels, the sequels, the original trilogy, the Clone Wars show, the animation, and the video games, all in 40 minutes.
Wow.
And this is what Star Wars can do when it's good, okay? When Star Wars is good, it can, bro, the internet explode, like Twitter exploded. Dude, I got quote tweeted by an animator from ILM that worked on the episode.
That's awesome.
So there's a scene from with frogs. I'll just say that, and I quoted, like, I wrote something like, I said Luke Skywalker and Grogu. That's the tweet. And then one of the people that worked on the episode was like, "You would not believe the amount of time that I had to spend figuring out frog colors." And I was like, bro, this dude is an ILM artist. This dude works on the episodes, and I'm like, I have peaked. I have. This is peak internet for me. So I was taken aback. Perfect 10 out of 10. The biggest thing is, so the decision, I'll just leave it up to you so you can watch it, Mr. Travis, and let us know what you think. The other big reveal is that one of the best characters in Star Wars history is also back. This is going to be crazy. Cad Bane, bro. How did you feel about that? How did you feel about that, man?
First of all, to give you guys some context, if you're not also big into Star Wars, Cad Bane in the he first appeared in the Star Wars Clone Wars show, and he was a bounty hunter. He was an alien bounty hunter, and this man was good at what he did, like scary good. every time he showed up, he just annoyed the hell out of me because how good he was at being, you know, a bounty hunter and being very smart and stuff like that. And the connection with Boba Fett is that he was, I believe, one of the people who taught Boba Fett, mentored Boba Fett to be, you know, a better bounty hunter. Of course, after his father passed, Jango Fett. So the fact that we saw the way they did it too, the way they introduced him showing up.
Oof!
I was just sitting here like, yeah, the one I think like the one thing that gave it away because he has a signature like big hat, like this big almost
cowboy
sombrero, like sombrero like hat in the show. And then when you see that, you're like, oh yeah, it's Cad Bane. And I saw the house like, no way, hatch build blue. I was like, this,
yes sir,
is this Cad Bane? And it was. I was like, wow, this is getting real serious. Because when you hire Cad Bane, like, I'm saying Cad Bane is such a threat that Anakin, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the whole Jedi Order had a problem with this man.
Wow.
And yes, you can clearly see they still haven't killed him.
Bro, I was watching it with some other friends. Everybody was screaming. Because the thing is, like, he's old at this point, like biologically, he's really old, but he's still got those hands and he's still got the reflexes because he sent the deputy in the show to the Shadow Realm real quick, fast, and in a hurry. E for everyone. E for everyone. That blaster is E for everyone. I'm just gonna say that. But the big thing is as well, dog. If Boba Fett, people have said, sucks in his own show. This dude takes both Boba Fett and Mando and everybody else and would run up their money. If this was a kid's lunch table at recess, this would be the bully, okay? This man was hired by the Emperor. This man has been hired by Jabba the Fett. Jabba the Hutt. The biggest thing, in my opinion, like that any Star Wars character has done, like the feat of like power or whatever, not even having the Force. This man resisted mind control from Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Mace Windu. The Grand Master of the Jedi Order, because Yoda was just there philosophically, but Mace Windu was the one that carried everything. So like Mace, Anakin, and Obi-Wan tried to literally make this man confess what his plans were, and he resisted. They failed. All of them failed at the same time. And Cad Bane is a god amongst all bounty hunters.
I'm so happy
and I'm
you
excited.
brought that up. I'm so happy because now once you said that, I remember that scene when they had them all in captivity and they all had to come together because it's like, oh, because one of us can't do it alone. We can't use the Jedi mind trick on him because his brain is like concrete. So yeah, it took 3 of them to do it.
They ain't got the facilities for that, big man. They don't have the facilities.
And I like how he even responded to when Obi-Wan first did it was Anakin. I think he went first. Like, you will tell us where your plans are, where the holocron is. He's like, hey, that Jedi shit don't work on me. And then Obi-Wan put his hand up at the same time, and he's like, wait, what are y'all doing? And then it still didn't work. And he was, even with all 3 of them, Mace Windu included, he was still fighting them, and they were like struggling to get in this man's mind. So. Yeah, crazy. And even I think one of his most boss-ass moments as well is when he faked his own death.
Oof.
When they thought he died, and they're like, oh, we finally got rid of Cad Bane. But no, he just freaking replaced, what was it, somebody else's body with his. Yeah. And for the longest time, he kind of disappeared in the show, and he returned, and everybody's like, we thought we killed him. And they nope, he lived.
Bro, and he shows up in the Bad Batch as well, so that's how he's connected to Fennec Shand too. So like he made a surprise appearance in Bad Batch and fought Fennec Shand, which is pretty cool because we saw that he can still pull up on everybody, bro. So this man was well known to be one of, if not the biggest bounty hunter besides Jango Fett that could stand up to a Jedi, and in this case, he could fight multiple Jedi at once. No issues. He was well known for unaliving Jedi too. So like he was like the Kim Possible of bounty hunters. Whatever you need him to do, he is there, bro. So they should have called him Cat Possible. Okay, really dumb joke, but it applies in this case.
Yeah, that's true. He did do that, and he killed a Jedi and then impersonated said Jedi to get inside a place because you know the Jedi Order, they look for young people like infants who have the ability of the Force, and they take them in to the Jedi Order. And so Darth Sidious's plan is to take some of those Force infants and, make his own little
Spies.
army of his own. So he hired Cad Bane to do that. So Cad Bane went off, killed a Jedi, took his robes, and went to these places asking for the kids. Like, oh, I'm a Jedi. Yeah. Is that your kid? Okay, yeah. I'm going to take him to the temple for sure. Facts.
For sure. For sure. So, Travis, you have a beautiful journey ahead of you, man. If you ever need any tips on where to start or what you need to watch, definitely recommend that you watch at some point. If all else fails, I would recommend that you pick up the train. After you watch the original trilogy, do Mandalorian and Boba Fett, because you're gonna have so much fun. Just with that, you're gonna have so much fun, and then you can watch whatever else you want. I would say it's definitely worth the watch, and we'll wait for you once you get there, man.
Yeah, I'm just seeing how excited you guys are. It warms the heart. I can't wait to watch this episode. I'm sorry I didn't watch it before the pod. And I also wanted to ask just two general Star Wars questions. The first is, I watched a TikToker. Unfortunately, he doesn't do TikTok anymore, but he actually did the origin of the Jedi and the Sith. And he said something that was very interesting to me. And what he said was that the Sith actually aren't that bad, and that the Jedi has done more damage than the Sith actually have. And I wanted to ask you guys about this, because apparently there was a huge war or something that the Jedi did, where they wiped out potentially, I think, trillions of beings across the universe. And so if that's true, how is it that the Sith are the ones that get the bad rap and not the Jedi? And also the relationship between Jedi and their Padawans.
Okay.
They're not supposed to have affection for them, or they're against affection or something. So could you guys shed a light on that for me?
Yeah. So the first thing is that there's been multiple galactic wars, right? So there's remember, there's been thousands of years of history, right? And the most recent one that led to the current situation was the one where Darth Bane was one of the Sith Lords, right? And I believe he's the one that instituted the Sith rule of 2, right? So there came a point in the war where I think the Sith were losing, and he realized, okay, we're gonna lose this, right? The Jedi are winning, and they were very the Jedi are ruthless, man. The Jedi itself, it's like a religious cult. It's a religious, essentially, they're fighting for a religious organization. They're saying that they're peacekeepers, but they're kind of like Peacemaker. They literally will not. They don't care how many men, women, and children they have to kill to get it. So they fought the Sith, and remember, a key thing to remember is that the Force will always strive for balance, right? If there is extreme darkness, it will pull up extreme light to counteract it, and vice versa, right? That's why there's been empires that rise and fall within the Force. When the Jedi were winning that war, that's how we got to the prequels, right? There were hundreds and thousands of Jedis across the galaxy, and there hadn't been Sith for decades, right? You hadn't heard of them because of the Galactic War. So Darth Bane instituted the Sith rule of 2, which meant there can only be 2 Sith. Only 2. Master and apprentice. And then once the apprentice has learned enough, he is eventually fated to kill the master and become the master itself and take on a Padawan. And what that does, right, is it consolidates all of the Sith knowledge and power into 2 beings, which means they make them the most powerful beings in the galaxy, right? Because they will be enough to counteract the Jedi. And at that point, there weren't enough Sith left to fight the thousands of Jedis, right? I'm pretty sure there's other things that I'm missing because I haven't read all of the graphic novels and stuff like that. But essentially, that's the main gist, right? And so near the end, it was Darth Plagueis and Sheev Palpatine. Darth Sidious. So Palpatine was obsessed. Sorry, Palpatine. Plagueis was obsessed with obtaining immortality, right? And he did so. He apparently achieved immortality, but he was only able to give it to others. He couldn't give it to himself. Ooh. So Palpatine, which is the Emperor that we know from the original trilogy, learned the secrets of immortality in some way and killed his master. right? And became the ruler, and he was searching for an apprentice. That's how we get the prequels, because he's searching for the next apprentice, right? And with that comes like the prophecy of the chosen one, and then all of that unfolds, right? You're up to that point, you get what I'm saying. So like,
Right.
once you watch the movies, you'll know what happens. So the main gist of it is, yes, the Jedi weren't necessarily the most, they're not saints, right? They have a glass house, but the Sith are obsessed with power. That's the big thing. Like the Sith aren't necessarily all bad, because we've seen Sith have emotion, a complexity, especially Darth Maul. I think Mizu can attest to that. Like Darth Maul, Asajj Ventress, they have emotions. They've gone through very traumatic things, but in the end, they're just obsessed with power and control. So it leads. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Imagine having like too much ambition to the point that you destroy all of your relationships to get it. Like that's how these people are. So like, it's not that they're all evil all the time. It's just that they are obsessed with completing their goals, and they don't care what they do to get them, right? So that's why they're so evil, quote unquote.
That, or like they let their emotions consume them. Like for example, Ventress, her whole life she's just known death. Like she was taken from her mother and put into slavery, and then her master was killed. And of course, kind of like Ymir, she had an attachment to her master because the slave mentality. But then she was saved by a Jedi who took her in because she was force sensitive. So he trained her, and he became her master. Then her master was killed, and that messed her up. So she has gone through trauma after trauma, and then she later is found by Count Dooku, who took her in as his own. But then he later betrays her mostly because Darth Sidious told him to, and that messed with her. So her whole life is revenge. And she lets revenge consume her. Like, nothing, I need revenge. The only way I can fix this is revenge. So that consumes her. Darth Maul, you can say in the beginning was revenge because, Obi-Wan Kenobi cut him in half. But before that, it was ambition and belonging. Before that, because he was also like Ventress, he was taken in as an infant, like I would say as a young child to be Darth Sidious' apprentice. So if you think about it, Darth Sidious and Darth Maul kind of had a more father-son thing, because Darth Sidious is all of Darth Maul is known as a figure, or even a parental figure. Mm. And then he gets cut in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi, and now he develops vengeance. And that consumed him. And funny enough, that with that, it kept him alive for so long because his hatred for Obi-Wan Kenobi kept him going. And then once he finally got caught up with Kenobi, he still had vengeance for him, but then that's when, how Jose said, ambition came in. Like, he wanted to take over things. He took over the planet of Mandalore. He became the leader of the crime syndicate. Yeah. So stuff like that. And that kind of stuff got in his way. And of course, he left the dark side per se, like, or at least Darth Sidious, because he saw through what Darth Sidious was doing. Exactly. And he had developed a vengeance against him. So it's like emotions get in the way with them. And I'll say that, granted, the Jedi concept still is good, but like, kind of like what Jose said, their main thing is peace, and they will do anything to achieve said peace. But funny enough, it's gotten so bad that even some Jedi, like older Jedi in the temple, stuff like that, call out the current Jedi Order, which is the Jedi Order under Master Yoda, funny enough. And they're like, oh, these Jedi are off the rails. Like, our whole purpose as Jedi is to, keep peace and just, follow the ways of the Force. But now we're in these wars. Like, no Jedi, I don't know which Jedi Master said it. I think it might have been Qui-Gon Jinn and somebody else, but like, no Jedi should be a general. Jedis are not soldiers. And yet here we are fighting in these things, and it just goes against our whole purpose. And of course, Yoda and all the big wigs of the Jedi Order kind of ignored him. Wow. And the cool thing about it is very poetic, because they are trying so hard to keep the peace. They're trying so hard to stop the dark side from coming, and to the point where they're willing to take children from their parents because they're force sensitive, so they can make them into their, part of their cult, pretty much, for peace. And because they want the dark side to not show back up. But funny enough, the figure that they have been wanting to take down has been in their face the entire time. Plus, it also doesn't help that the Jedi Temple, little trivia fact for some of y'all, the Jedi Temple was built on top of a Sith temple. A Sith temple that they destroyed, and they built a Jedi Temple on top of it. And Darth Sidious knew about this, so he used that to his advantage, which made him stronger, which is one of the reasons why they weren't able to detect him via the Force. So, funny enough, the Jedi were, at least this Jedi Order, the most recent one under Yoda, love Yoda, Mace Windu, all of them, but under their order, it was their fault. And plus, denying Anakin and not really seeing the issues with Anakin Skywalker or addressing them, was their own fault as well. And Darth Sidious saw that. And Darth Sidious didn't do anything but say, hey, I can help you. I can give you what they're not giving you, and I'm not going to give you the runaround like they are.
The Emperor is essentially the Joker. Like, he's the agent of chaos, but he doesn't do much of the work himself. He just plants the seed and lets life take its course. Exactly.
And, he like Anakin sometimes, because again, Anakin was having these nightmares about, Padme, his wife, dying. And the only one who knew about him having a wife was Obi-Wan, because the Jedi don't do eternal attachments like that. So he couldn't tell anyone about it. And Obi-Wan was just like, oh, well, just meditate on it. Don't focus too much on it. And he said, it's kind of hard not to when it keeps happening. So, and I love my wife. I'll do anything for her. And, like I said, Darth Sidious manipulated that. And now look. So if anything, I would say that the Jedi Order fell because of themselves. Granted, yes, Darth Sidious and all of them, but a lot of it was eternal, and it showed. And even with the character of Ahsoka literally left the Jedi Order because she got accused of something that she did not do. And the Jedi Order were like, oh, well, we don't really have all the facts, so we're just going to have to punish you or choose you as the punishment. And then when all things came to light, I'm not going to go into too much detail what happens because I want you to watch the show. But when all things came to light, they're like, oh, well, our bad. Yoda's like, well, you can come back to the Jedi Order. And Ahsoka's just like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. Y'all were quick to demonize me and point fingers. So I just don't think the Jedi Order is cut off for me. Granted, and as you can see, she still uses the light side of the Force. She didn't go down the path of darkness, but she just didn't see the Jedi Order as ideal anymore. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, the Jedi fell because of their own doing.
First of all, that was
a lot of information. A lot of information.
That was a lot of information. I thank you both for sharing it. That was incredible. And from how you guys describe the Jedi, it seems more like they're obsessed. If the Sith are obsessed with power, it seems like the Jedi are obsessed with order. They're not obsessed necessarily with peace. So whatever it takes to do order, we'll kill trillions. We'll accuse people of crimes without all the information and kick them out of the order and all of that. That sounds really bad. But okay, I guess they're the good guy. Sure,
they're good in it. Like they're striving for good. It's just that when they're back against the wall, their claws will come out. They're not like pacifists at all.
Yes. Yikes. And the thing is, they I'll say this, I'll give them that at least they already make it clear that they aren't necessarily pacifist. But yeah, overall, it is damaging look at them and the stuff that they do. I definitely still side with them, but not with everything. When they say certain stuff, I'm like, I don't know about all that. I think you guys are kind of jumping the gun on this kind of stuff.
Oh no, please, sorry.
Oh no, that was it.
No, I was going to say, again, from the description, I'd have to watch more, but it just sounds like the Sith are a little bit better. I'd rather someone obsessed with emotion than someone who's devoid of it. Yeah. Right? Like if the Jedi can't have long-lasting like attachments. They can't get married. That means that their Padawans they can't be attached to their Padawans. They can't be attached to these kids that they're breeding for war, essentially. These are child soldiers.
Yeah.
I'd rather the side with feelings, at least. Like,
yeah.
You know what? I don't know. Again, right? What do I know? I'll
perfectly valid, bro. Perfectly valid.
I'm not gonna lie. At some point in my life, when as a Star Wars fan, I also had that internal debate with myself, like, realistically, where would I be in this whole Jedi Sith thing? And I had that battle, like, yeah, the Sith got some points, but then there's this, and then the Jedi, and then they have their own issues. And I would love to be part of the whole middle ground, but unfortunately, the concept of the great, because you would hear this, I'm gonna let you know this right now, so you won't get trapped in it. There's no such thing as a great Jedi, or at least not anymore. You're gonna probably hear that, but don't fall for it. I fell for it for a hot minute. The whole concept, because the gray Jedi is pretty much basically people who use the Force as the Force. They don't consume the dark side. They don't consume the light side. And from the way it sounds ideal, but after watching some series of videos of people going into the Star Wars lore, it technically doesn't exist.
No, I don't.
So it doesn't exist, or it doesn't make a lot of sense as I once thought it did. So if you ever decide to go in the internet and try to look it up, I know it's going to sound very appealing, Travis, but don't fall for it.
Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it, because we've tried it.
Guys. And yeah, we can. I'm so sorry we got like.
No, you're good.
But I definitely have more questions, but I'll definitely save that for the next pod. I know that we're constricted for time.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But I think it's an amazing journey, and it's definitely worth the watch, because whatever's coming next in the finale is gonna break the internet. And speaking of the internet, we asked you a question last week, a very important question. Which characters deserved more screen time? In our weekly Stack 'em Up, we've gotten to that point in our lives where Stack 'em Up has torn rifts in the people of this show, right? So the question was simple: which character deserved more screen time? We had Rock Lee from Naruto, we had Frozone from The Incredibles, and then we have Morgiana from Magi, right? It was close, but our friend Travis unfortunately picked Morgiana, and Morgiana got 40% support. So let's keep it on the good side. It was 60% not support, right? And then we had a fight to the death between Frozone and Rock Lee. And fortunately for your boy, Mr. Frozone, bald head squad itself, all day, every day, our boy Frozone took home the W with 83% against Rock Lee's 81. It was a hard-fought battle, Mizu. And I think we all made very, very, very good points. But that you guys voted. Thank you so much for voting. We had over 3,000 people voting, which is great. Like, great engagement for you guys. I'm really happy that you guys were able to vote on that. Are we still good camera wise? Oh yeah, I didn't see Travis blinking, so I was like, oh god,
sorry.
Did we lose him? Did we lose him? But yeah, thank you guys so much for voting. You can vote for the next week, and all Stack 'em Up polls at my Instagram at I'm Tropical Joe. I put them up after the post is live, after the pod is live, so you guys can vote and let us know what you think. The question for this week, however, is also pretty simple, but it also gives us a lot of possible answers. And this was asked as well on the Instagram polls. It is, what is the saddest movie moment that you have seen? Whether it be a death or a sad moment itself, what sad moment do you have? And in this case, even though I was the winner, we are using a randomizer to select the order. And the results are already in. Our boy Travis will go second, Mizu will go first, and I will go last. So Mizu, what is the saddest movie moment that you have seen? Either be a death or a moment in and of itself.
Before I get started, I want to say that, yeah, it was very close race. And I'm not mad, because a lot of Jose's points were on point. And of course, my inner child loving The Incredibles and Frozone came in. I was like, yeah, that's the solid choice. I'm not mad about the loss. It's well deserved. And but in terms of a sad movie moment, now there's two avenues I could take. I can take it with an older movie, or I can take it with a relatively newer movie. And I feel like either one could work. And both of them are in the Disney Pixar category.
Oh God, come on.
So, but to make things interesting, I'm not going to go with the obvious. I'm going to go with the newer one. And now I will say a sad movie moment is from the iconic movie Inside Out, when the character Bing Bong, the imaginary character of the main character, forever disappeared. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, in the movie Inside Out, it's about a girl when we learn about our inner personal emotions, joy, sadness, disgust, cowardice, all those. And in there, the kid that they inhabit had an imaginary friend named Bing Bong. And of course, she grew out of it, so he was in the depths of her mind. And at some point in the story, in the movie, joy and sadness fall into what they call what was it called? I'm
like
just called the Valley of...
Yeah, the Valley of Death, basically, of our memories.
I forgot the actual name.
Pretty much where, all memories die, and they just fade away into your deep, deep subconscious. And they fell in there. Once you fall in there, you pretty much can't get out. So, Bing Bong and Joy try to figure out a way to get out of there, and they found out that Bing Bong had this amazing what was it? It was like a buggy that he had that can fly and stuff like that. Yeah. So they try to use it to get out of there, and the first time they failed. They tried a second time, they failed, and then the third time, as it was happening, Bing Bong was disappearing. His arm disappeared, but he was still optimistic. He was trying to get there. And then the third try, when Joy and them were singing the song, he jumps off of the buggy, and Joy finally made it. And he is just like happy that she made it. Say, yeah, go save Riley. Take her to the moon for me, which is one of the things that they did with Riley was she always pretend that they went and traveled to the moon all the time. And as he said that, he fades away from existence. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. My first impression of Inside Out was just like, I don't really care for it at first. I'm like, I'll watch this movie. But as I was watching the movie, and then when this happened, I was like...
Sobbing, bro. Sobbing.
Holy crap, this is sad. I was like... I mean, this is coming from someone who actually never had an imaginary friend. And I told my wife about that. She's like, really? You never grew up with I never grew up with an imaginary friend. I never did that. But it had a visceral reaction on me. I was like, yo, like... And this is especially looking at all my memories go away. Like, there's some memories I totally forgot that I probably never remember again. And that whole scene was so sad. The way they did it, because Pixar, Disney, they love their deaths. They just love to rip us apart to make us feel sad. You know what every good Disney movie needs? Someone dying. Yes. So we can get them. We need to trap them somehow. And I was expecting, I'm not gonna lie to you, at first I wasn't expecting the death in this. I was like, okay, this is Inside Out of emotions. Emotions can't really die. Everybody has these emotions, or depending on your situation. And I didn't see that coming either. I was like, wow, I was taken aback. I would say that right there. And a lot of people resonate with it. A lot of people bring it up, they will say that a movie that they made them sad was the whole scene with Bing Bong. It's even a trend on TikTok when people are using his audio of him saying "Take it to the moon for me." I've seen it so many different variations of it, and I think for sure it is, to me, a very sad movie moment.
Right for the jugular, bro. Damn it, that is a great moment. That was in my top 3.
Wow.
Oh, Travis, make us sadder, please.
I'm glad I didn't have I didn't even think of that, but that's a good one. Mm-hmm. My answer is Mufasa from the Lion.
My other
that
choice.
Was my first choice. That was the other one I was saying that was not gonna use.
And I was like, please don't go the older route, please. Mufasa. That was the first time my heart was broken as a kid. seeing Scar plunge his nails into Mufasa's paws and just say, "Long live the king," and let him fly into the canyon so that he could get trampled. Still, to this day, as an adult, I'm like, hurts. It hurts. And it even made the scene later on just that much more impactful, where Simba's talking to his father in the clouds. Like that's the second and last time that he will ever see his dad. And I was like, man, that's just it's so iconic. It's so powerful. And it's just one of those it's definitely one of the top 5 Disney deaths of all time. In my opinion, I definitely think it could go down as one of the biggest, if not the biggest death for sure.
Damn, bro. Short and sweet. You guys got me. Those two were big.
No, I remember as a kid seeing that too, because I even asked my mom why it happened. I was like, I say, Mama, is he sleeping? And my mom was like,
no, he's not. No, he's not.
And here's the thing, crazy kudos, and actually also at the same time messed up that Disney actually showed us his body, like just laying there, and like you see, Simba trying to make him get up. I was like, yo, looking at it as an adult, I'm like, holy crap, that's actually
traumatizing,
kind of morbid, like
traumatizing,
super traumatizing. The small nudges, like get
bro,
up.
Sleeping under the paw, trying to sleep under the paw. I'm like, no, bro, don't.
And
do
then
it
Scar
to me.
came and made Simba as a kid.
Facts.
He killed his dad. Like it's instant trauma.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but the king is dead, and it's your fault. It's your fault, Simba. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, nah, bro. Jeremy Irons deserves that paycheck, bro. That paycheck forever. Damn, bro. I have my choice. Speaking of, I think we've all picked deaths for some reason. Saddest moments all usually involve deaths, and I'm gonna pick a movie death. I'm not gonna pander to my audience because I know a lot of my audience is Marvel and superhero related. I'm not gonna pander to them, but I am gonna pander to one of the deaths that affected me the most. And it's because I saw it as a teenager at a moment where I was like, damn, I've grown up with these characters the entire time. In a little movie called Harry Potter, The Deathly Hallows Part 2. We see the death of a very, 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 very misunderstood sorcerer. And his name is Severus Snape.
Yeah.
He sacrifices himself before Harry has to fight the Dark Lord. He sacrifices himself. And he takes a beating from Nagini. And reveals to Harry that, like, in just a simple one-word sentence, the fact that he was always caring for him, regardless of what Dumbledore said or what ulterior motives Dumbledore may have had that were also revealed during the movie. All of these moments have a signature quote, right? Long live the king, take her to the moon for me. And in this case, you have your mother's eyes. With that single sentence, I still remember everybody in my theater crying their eyes out, bro, because the score, the moment, and just like Alan Rickman's performance. I would say Alan Rickman was the best actor, like, or performance besides Sirius Black. I would say it was the best and Voldemort, obviously. It was obviously well acted, but Severus Snape had a visceral reaction to everybody in that theater. Like, I still remember like who I was with. I still remember like I still remember the theater and the screening that I went to. Like, because that movie in and of itself, by being like so big, like the ending of a saga or whatever, it has like really impactful moments on your life, just like Endgame, just like Spider-Man No Way Home, all that stuff. And seeing a character as iconic as Severus Snape pass away, even though we read it in the book, as we've said before, reading it ain't the same thing as watching it, bro. So watching it happen truly left me gasping and crying out for crying out for my mom. It was a sad movie death indeed. But there you go. That is the stack 'em up for the week. A really tough stack 'em up. Every choice could win. Every choice could win. We have the Lion King giving us Mufasa's death, probably the saddest Disney death. Then we have the saddest Pixar death, I'd say, recently, besides Up. I was Bing Bong.
True. Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a good one.
Yeah. The saddest death.
The opening of Up.
The opening of
that's a good
Up
one.
was absolutely bonkers. So the opening of Up, we have so that's not an option though. Bing
man.
Bong from Inside Out saying, "Take her to the moon for me," and being forgotten as a memory. And then we have Severus Snape's inevitable demise in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
I'm not gonna lie. I wish I picked that now, because now I'm thinking about, like, how do you open a movie like that?
Bro.
And I'm just like, dang, like it's only been like 5 minutes. Like we didn't even get this movie started. Why are you gonna be sad like this?
That opening is still a menace, right? Like you can't watch that movie without tearing and be like, oh shit.
I haven't watched
Here we go
Up.
again.
I haven't watched Up in like 5 years because I don't want to see the opening.
No. Just
can't
like
do it
Coco,
without-
just like Coco, bro. Like listening to Remember Me in Coco is also sad
Oh,
AF.
that's a good
Okay,
one too.
That's
sad
a good
AF.
one.
Sad AF, bro. I don't know what Pixar just likes to play with your emotions, man. It's too much. They do it too damn much, and it's not okay. But we have our 3 options, and make sure you go check them out on I'm Tropical Joe on my Instagram. And that is all that we have today, unless you guys want to cover anything else notable in the news. I mean, we got the Super Bowl in a couple days, but I mean, we're not going to cover that till it happens. But do you guys have anything else you'd like to cover?
I just have one thing to add.
Yes, sir.
My heart can't take another loss. Cannot.
Yes.
Morgiana's defeat was a little too. That was hard. That was
Rough.
I you know what? And to be fair, I expected to lose. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I was up against Rock Lee by Me Too. Just beautiful
Mwah.
choice.
Yep.
And taking Frozone. Okay,
Yep.
things that I wanted personally. I didn't expect to win. Did I expect 40%? Did I expect a grade that I couldn't show like my parents? Like I didn't. I did not. This week is, if Mufasa doesn't take it, I don't know. I don't know. These are all good
honestly,
choices.
I think it's gonna be. I honestly think it's gonna be between you and Mizu. So hey, I would pick. I would pick.
you had a
Mufasa.
good
It's
choice,
anyone's game. I mean,
I
there's
would pick-
there's a lot of
yeah.
Harry Potter fans out here, man.
I know.
I don't know.
I know.
Like,
I know. It do be crazy. It do be crazy out here in these streets. You got anything else?
well, I can say a little bit of sports if we already haven't heard, but that they officially Washington changed their name, and now they are known as the Commanders now. So they're no longer the Redskins. They are now the Commanders.
Beautiful.
The beautiful
Yep. Took them long
thought.
enough.
Don't like the name though. You could have chosen everything
here's
else.
the funny thing. So the little history behind it is that they have talked about it for a year now, what they were going to be doing or what the name, and a lot of people had their ideas. And funny enough, just kind of like Sony, there was a leak that they revealed possibly what the name is, but people were still up in the air. Like, oh, it could be anything, because a lot of people wanted either, I think it was like the Red Wolves, the Red Hogs, something. Those are the 2 names I've heard a lot. And but then they revealed that it was officially going to be the Commanders,
like the commander-in-chief, I'm guessing, because of the president.
So pretty much, I think actually I don't know the meaning behind Commanders. I'm assuming it's Commander-in-Chief. Right now that's just the name. They have yet to have a logo. There's no logo yet. They just revealed the name, and the jerseys and all that stuff are still pretty much the same. I think they added a black jersey now.
Yeah.
And so pretty much, like you, there's a lot of people who were upset with the name because it either like the meaning behind it, what's going on with it and stuff like that. So funny enough, for those who don't know, I was having some phone issues to the point where my phone was like completely jacked up, and now I have this new phone that I'm using right now. Well, in the meantime, I did something that I never did before in my entire life. I listened to the radio. And I listened to the radio, and I was like, you know what? Maybe find me a radio station. And I turned it to, I believe it's 106.7. Shout out to them.
Mhm.
I don't know your guys' names, but it's just for that period of time. And they were basically talking about the name, and they got, people, callers to come in. And I'm not gonna lie, some of the logic behind the way they hate it, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you have to like the name, but some of the logic that they were saying why the name was bad, I was like, okay, some of y'all are kind of reaching. Some people didn't like it because if you shorten the name Commanders, it says commies, and
Oh, come on.
And I was just like, and then I'm not gonna shout out to the host too, because they're like, first of all, the only people who would probably get that is like older folks, or those who are interested in like history, because I know what commie means, but a lot of younger people won't really get that, and even so, it wouldn't be like, oh man, we're being called commies, oh my god, and plus, let's be honest here, any name that you can make with the Commanders will not be as bad as what they did with all the other names for the Redskins.
Exactly.
So it's like, if you heard the other names for the Redskins, I've heard them, and I'd rather deal with being called a commie than whatever that I can't pronounce say on here. So some people were complaining that, if it's Commander, like why if it's gonna be the name Commander, which involves the military, why isn't the colors red, white, and blue and not instead of burgundy, gold, and all that stuff? I'm like, they can't change their whole colors now. Like, come on now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's basically, and the part that makes me laugh through all this, they're complaining, and all of them have the same thing, saying like, oh, why didn't they think this all the way through? Why didn't they think about all the possibilities? I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you. You could honestly apply that same logic with the name Redskins. Like, why that name? Why would you do that? And like the history, the story behind it is not good either. So, hey, I'm just saying, like, granted, I believe, and the question they had on here is that, would people warm up to the name? Would people still hate it throughout time and all that stuff? And I believe that people will warm up to it. Just give it time. I mean, it's the same team. Nothing changed. Yeah. So it's just the name and, like, I guess the merchandise. And plus, it's not the first time that, NFL teams change their like logos and their names. And plus, let's be honest. And one person, I would say, there was one caller on there that I liked the most. And he was just like, hey, guys, it may not seem like a good name, but hey, at least we're not the Browns. Like, at least we're not the Browns. At least, like, and I was thinking here, like, yeah, the Browns. Like, again, I get that you named it after, I guess, the person who founded the team, but like, your name is not. Your name kind of is. Your logo is just a football helmet. It screams that, hey, just in case y'all didn't know, we're a football team. Like, so I'm just like.
And they suck, which is not, and they suck too, which is great.
And on top of that, they suck. So
yeah,
and then other person, you said on top of that, the caller went like, "Hey, plus we have the chance of choosing what the logo is, because like I said, they haven't chosen what the logo is going to be, and so they have possibly fans have leeway in what the logo could be, and." As long as I'm down with that, as long as it's not a bird, because we don't need no more birds. We already got the Eagles, we got the Seahawks, we got the Ravens, we got
Falcons.
We got the Falcons.
Good
as long as it's not a bird, and as long as it's not a cat. We got the Panthers, we got the Jaguars,
the Lions.
The Lions.
I thought Red Wolves would have been a great name. I would have preferred to see something with red in it, but definitely infinitely better than Redskins. And I also wasn't privy to the other nicknames that Redskins actually that people came up with, and I'm glad I don't know. Yeah. But for sure, I prefer Commanders or whatever nickname they could pick for that, rather than whatever they were saying about Redskins. The implication of them being communists is so outdated. Who cares?
Exactly. This is not the 80s anymore. Like we're not granted, yes, does communism still exist? Yeah, sure. But it's like, is it like we're not in that
we have to fight a virus, people. We have to fight a virus.
Exactly. Let's focus on a virus. We're not in the Cold War. That we're done with that. So yeah, I thought that was just very interesting. Like the people complaining about the name and stuff like that. But again, I can see the potential. It's whatever. Like, it all depends on what they're going to do with it. And again, it also depends on that logo. I need to see the logo to finally make my decision what their logo is. Some people thinking that they might go with a tank or something. I don't know.
That'd be dope.
Some people think it's gonna be like stars, similar to the Cowboys, but it's gonna be like 3 stars or something like that. Which I hope they don't do that, because again, like when I think of stars, I'm gonna think of the Cowboys. Like the Cowboys have.
I would do a flag.
Star.
I would do a flag like the Bucks.
Like the Buccaneers, yeah, that makes sense.
Good.
Or like the Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if it's because I mean, yeah, like a tank is gonna be really hard to sell merch wise, because it's a literal, like, it's a weapon, I guess. So I don't really know what.
Possibly, yeah.
Sensitive to weapons? I mean,
I don't really know, bro. I mean, people are sensitive to everything nowadays, bro.
Fair.
Air Force One, maybe an airplane. I don't know.
Oh, I'll do an airplane.
Yeah, airplane.
That's good. I mean, we got the jets.
And plus, it's in Washington D.C. and Air Force One exists in there because with Joint Base Andrews. Shout out to Joint Base Andrews. But yeah, I mean, the logo ideas are it's an endless possibility. So I'm optimistic to see what they do with that.
Same.
All right. Well, that is all that we have today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be posting the episodes now in little chunks, right? The best segments of the show will be posted on YouTube, but you will be able to hear the full podcast on the Spotify very, very soon. We will be coming back to Spotify. It's just a few kinks that we have to figure out on our end. But once that is done, you'll be able to see it when you're see it whenever you want, and hear it whenever you're working out or whenever you consume your podcast. However, that is the end for us. It's been your boy Tropical Joe. You can find me at I'm Tropical Joe on TikTok and Instagram. Also, you can find me on YouTube, about to hit 20K, which is really, 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 really exciting.
Congrats.
Thank you guys so much. We're about to hit that number, a big milestone to have. We're doing streams on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and we have a big release happening this week. So stay tuned for that. Mizu, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on TikTok, Mizu Shogun, Instagram. Go check out the Weeb Weekly Instagram as well. It's Weeb Weekly. We also have a TikTok as well. Go check that out. And if you're watching this from YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and also hit that bell button to get more notifications for our upcoming videos.
Amen to that. Travis, where can they find you?
And I am Travis the Sibling. You could find me on TikTok, also Instagram. And you could also find me on Twitter, at Trav the Sibling on Twitter.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. With that being said, it's been the Weeb Weekly, and another amazing week in the docket. This is week number 3 or 2 for us, right?
Say 3. Yep.
Three.
Yeah.
Awesome. Almost coming up on the first month. So thank you guys so much for the support, and we'll see you on the next one.